Following the surprise announcement that she would not be competing in the women's team final in Olympic gymnastics, Simone Biles has also now announced that she will not be competing in Thursday's individual all-around competition. And that is because of a mental health issue, according to a statement released by USA Gymnastics. They say, "We wholeheartedly support Simone's decision and applaud her bravery in prioritizing her well-being. Her courage shows yet again why she is a role model for so many." And I have since yesterday, I finally got to watch the replay of the team final. And from her one vault, you could see that she was mentally not in it. Narrowly avoided potentially horribly injuring herself even in that one vault. And so she will not be competing tomorrow in the individual. Now that said, we still don't know if she'll be competing in next week's individual event finals. We will, of course, see what happens with that. But JR, what do you think about this development?
I mean, considering she dropped out of the team competition, it's not too much of a surprise. At least it kind of makes sense, at least for her to drop out also of the individual events. I mean, it's the same reason. It's not like she had an issue with the team, or like, oh, it's too much pressure if it's the team events. But then once it's individual events, then all the pressure. Again, pressure is even the wrong word here. She's dealing with whatever mental health issues that she may have to deal with, whatever kinds of focus, honestly, that she has to deal with as far as competing out there on a national stage, or international stage here. So it's one of those things where you have to understand where the person's coming from. And just because they're an athlete, that we've been separating them from their humanity. Even when it came to NBA players, I think Kevin Love was one of the first ones to come out and talk about his mental health issues and how he's been struggling through that. And he was embraced. They said, oh man, he's given a good platform for other players that maybe were too afraid or maybe knew that this wouldn't go well with the public sentiment on this. And then you had DeMar DeRozan come out next, and it's multiple others that have begun to talk about the issues that they deal with on a day-to-day basis that they couldn't talk about before. The fact that this is an Olympic athlete, I don't see how that makes much of a difference here, because I know that a lot of criticism has been thrown her way.
Yeah, I think I think for some people they probably think, well, this is the Olympics, so why not have your mental health crisis at a more convenient time, I guess. Of course, if you follow gymnastics, they have events throughout the year. There's the world championships, there's the national championships. They have all of these things. For her, this is not, well, last time I competed was 4 years ago. I really need to make the most. Exactly. So I think that there's a little bit of, and by the way, I don't watch all those events. I like gymnastics, but I generally only watch the Olympics. But that said, we're gonna get to some of the responses, but the through line to virtually all of the responses attacking her is varying degrees of ignorance, if not, misogyny and racial animus.
Yeah.
So,
and John, but you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna get into those instances. I just want to have a point about.
Oh, I will. But you tell me.
No, because you talked about world championships and every other championships and every kind of competition that folks have in these types of sports, like Olympics, track and field, all the things that we see. Gymnastics, track and field, the things that we see at the Olympics. That for some reason, some folks think it only happens at the Olympics, and that people just train for 4 years and they don't have any other competitions. There's nothing else happening in their lives, but. It's the first indication that you shouldn't listen to the people who have these definitive opinions about what it is that she's going through, and that she's chosen this time to then bow out. There's plenty of things that she's been doing. It's the reason why she's considered the best in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, they ended up still getting silver. Jordan Childs competed in place of Simone Biles. And did a pretty solid job, considering that she didn't know until a few minutes before the first event. I believe she was on the uneven bars first, that she would be doing it. She said if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be silver Olympic medalists. Which is also entirely true. And by the way, she's not gonna be competing in the individual all around. So now Jade Carey will be competing. I hadn't watched Jade Carey compete before the Olympics, but she was incredibly solid. This is an opportunity for her too. It gets to be up to the athlete. That's what it gets to be up to. We're gonna go through all the different variations on the attacks, but we just wanted to give you the update. This is what's going on. She has made this decision, and we will find out probably in the next few days, within a week, if she'll be competing next week in the individual events. That said, any other comments before we move on to the reaction, Jayar?
No, but just this could go with also the reaction is, people talked about the level of difficulty in the things that she would attempt in her performance. And there's like, it's scary, the things that she does, because no one else even attempts these things sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the focus or the ability to do it mentally, you're gonna potentially significantly hurt yourself. So this is more than just protecting her mental health. This is protecting her physical health and then the rest of her career and anything else she decides to do. So I think a lot of people can take all that into account as we go into these stupid things that they said.
You're 100% right. Her difficulty scores are way higher, and everyone says that they're an underestimate of what they should actually be. The judges don't know how to grade her because her stuff is too difficult. Like, did you watch the actual? Did you see her vault that she? Her last thing?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, so apparently she was supposed to do 2.5 twists, and she did, I believe it was 1.5, and landed kind of badly, but she landed on her feet. Like, if I jumped and did a half twist wrong, I would face plant. She made a mistake that was so bad, the judges were worried for her as it was happening, and still landed on her feet. Like, gotta hate people. Anyway, okay, so let's go into some of the people that I hate. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.